party's primary goal is an informed electorate, and we hope that by viewing this debate that you too can cast an informed vote. And now let's begin.
And Libertarian candidate Yvonne Schick.
The tax cuts of 2001 and 2003 seem to be doing very little to stimulate the economy right now. Should we let them lapse to pay for this bailout package? And if not, why not?
Okay, if I've got it straight here, we're talking about the economy.
Yes.
Okay, the more the government spends, the less we all have. The government has no money of its own. It can only spend what it takes from you and me. The solution to stimulating the economy is to slash government spending. Every U.S. government regulator destroys 150 private sector jobs. If we'll really take an axe to the wasteful spending and regulation, people won't have to worry about looking for jobs. Jobs will come to them. We also have to stop nation building so that we can rebuild our own nation. War is a money pit hole through which we should use only as a last defense. We've got to get our priorities straight.
Okay, Representative, you have a 30-second rebuttal to the Senator.
Why were such extraordinary measures necessary? And secondly, how do we pay for it given the present extraordinary deficit this country already has?
Well, unfortunately, we got into the situation by a lot of government mismanagement, or actually government management to begin with, by stepping away from the free market principles that have worked so well for us for so long. The Federal Reserve manipulating booms and busts, or attempting to, and making the mistake instead of allowing a boom and then an adjustment and a boom and an adjustment, boom, 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 and now we're getting the big adjustment.
Pakistan is a nuclear nation, and Osama bin Laden has terrorist camps on the Afghani-Pakistani border. What would you like to see done if nuclear weapons were to fall in the hands of terrorists?
And this is from Ms. Schick.
To Ms. Schick.
Terrorists are a bit like fire ants. If you want to keep fire ants out of your yard, you treat your yard. You don't waste time and money treating your neighbor's yard in the hopes of permanently eliminating these pests. Terrorists will, just like fire ants, will always find a turf. Terrorists and dictators will always find a turf. We weaken our domestic defense when we send our young people overseas. We need to support our troops by bringing them home alive so that they can protect us against a nuclear or against a terrorist attack where it counts, here at home. We spend hundreds of billions of dollars trying to police the world, leaving us short of resources to even police our own neighborhoods. Instead of pouring money down the black hole of war, we need to have plans for peace. Japan was our enemy in World War II, and now our economies are intertwined by trade. It's trade, not tariffs and embargoes. They're the path to peace and will turn would-be enemies into fast friends.
Okay, RG, your question to Ms. Schick.
Ms. Schick, the state and federal government run a lot of programs that serve the mentally ill and the mentally retarded. The Church of Scientology opposes psychiatry. As a Scientologist, how would that affect your approach to government programs for the mentally ill and the mentally retarded?
Well, as a libertarian, I feel like there are limits on what the government is supposed to do, that it's not the government's responsibility to provide those kind of programs. There's no authorization in the Constitution that requires that or even authorizes the government to do that. So it's really my position as a libertarian that those kinds of programs are not within the authority of the federal government and are not affordable. It gets back to the other issues of any kind of health care. You can include that, along with it. It drives up the cost of health care, it drives up the cost of the federal government, and we simply can't afford it.
Okay, thank you. And our final category this evening, constitutional issues. David Jones, you start with a question to Ms. Schick.
We have massacres with firearms in schools, churches, department stores, and yet today any terrorist or any felon can go to a gun show, and there are 4,000 of them in this country every year, and get an assault weapon. Isn't it time to close the gun show loophole?
No, I don't believe that it is. I think that the right to bear arms is fundamental. It's guaranteed in the Constitution. It wasn't a slip that it was put in there. It's a basic right that people have to defend themselves. I think that the problems that lead to the massacres and the shootings that you talked about have other sources. It's not the availability of weapons. It's the problems that those people have that need to be identified and addressed.
Okay, thank you. And that finishes the question portion of the debate. And now we invite each candidate to give a 1-minute closing statement. We are starting with Ms. Schick.
I appreciate being included in this debate. I have not been invited to the debate in Dallas next week, but I'm still hopeful. Since the bailout vote, my office has been flooded with phone calls and emails. Texans feel betrayed. They feel they can no longer trust either party to stand on the Constitution, to work from the principles our country was founded on, or even to use common sense. Ron Paul once said that no matter how bad things got, if we would just return to the principles of freedom, we could rise up again and be prosperous. I'm a businesswoman. The government's not going to bail me out any more than they're going to bail any other taxpayer out. It's time to vote and elect someone who thinks more like you than like them. Elect me to be the senator, and I promise to return our nation to be free and prosperous.
On behalf of Houston PBS, I'm Ernie Manous. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
And that's a wrap. Enjoy your Thetans, Yvonne.